Hello, Chillicothe and points beyond, and welcome to another edition of Litter Media Live. We are closing in on the end of March of 2026. I'm Dan Ramey.
I'm Aaron Glandon.
I thought I'd let you introduce yourself today.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
We're hanging out in the trees today. We appreciate you joining us and spending part of your time with us as we try to inform you on some of the things going on around the Scioto Valley and points beyond here in central and southern Ohio. And, of course, it's all beneficial news that you can use.
Yes, it is. And speaking of that tree that we were just seeing, it's a lot bigger in person, and I recommend you go see it. It's at the Heron Downs Nature Reserve, owned by the Ross County Parks District.
Mm-hmm. Where is it exactly?
The roundabouts on 159. Yeah. It's right after the second one.
So do you have to walk like 2 miles to get to it?
Yes.
Okay, so keep that in mind.
It's at the end of the trail. So,
okay. It's like, I think Ohio's perfect tree. I've not been down this way for a while, but it's on State Route 335 between Pike and Scioto County, that Scioto County line there. And it sits off of the roadway. Mm-hmm. You can see it from the road. You don't have to stop. And the problem is you can't stop and look at it. You have to keep motoring along, but there's a sign there that says the Ohio's most perfect tree, I think.
What makes it the most perfect tree?
I don't know. And I've not been down there for probably, I've been through there going on 32, but I haven't ventured down 335 for probably close to 20 years. So I don't even know if the tree still exists. Maybe they cut it down. That wouldn't be good, would it?
No, it wouldn't.
Coming up here shortly, we'll get you caught up to date on what's happening with news and a look at sports, as well as this date in history. We're going outer space, right?
Outer space and way back.
Way back. Details are just ahead. But first, let's take a look at the forecast for you here today. We have some cloud cover, the possibility of maybe a light shower this evening about 5 o'clock. So if you're getting ready for a softball game or a baseball game, you might have a bit of a shower there, but then they'll be able to play right through. It doesn't look like it's going to be too much of rain. And we'll have sunny conditions for you a little bit off and on tomorrow. Some cloud cover here and there, but our temperatures are going to be nice and comfy. 72 degrees for a high today, 78 for the high tomorrow, and we'll be in the upper to mid-60s right into Wednesday. So dig in this weather. Spring is finally here, but it does bring along with it, April starts Wednesday, and you know the old saying, yep. April showers bring May flowers. Yep. So we'll have to be dealing with some of that off and on as we go through spring. All right, coming up in a moment to look at what's making news for us, all just ahead. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. Got a plumbing issue in your home or your business? Maybe you've got a second home and you just haven't had it checked out for the summer. Want to make sure that air conditioner is working. You just reach out to Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. They can take care of all that. Click on this ad anywhere you see it on our website. That's littermedia.com. It will take you directly to their website, accuratehvac.com.
Wherever you are there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing. Download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union.
As a professional race car driver, I live for speed, power, and performance on and off the track. That's why I use the Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Race into your local dealership today and test drive a new Dixie Chopper.
Tell us where we can find some of this news we're going to talk about today.
Littermedia.com. Everything you need as far as beneficial news you can use is right there. We got website articles. We have links to our social media pages where we post just about every day. We have X, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Litter Media Radio. Some of those we post more on others. We don't use Instagram all that much, but every other social media platform of ours is thriving with beneficial news that you can use.
Your one-stop shop for everything you need to know.
Yes.
The good stuff going on in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
And we start off with traffic, right?
Yes, we do. It's day 2 of the changes to the commute for those who use US 35 to get from High Street to North Bridge Street, just like I do. Mm-hmm. The on-ramp from High Street to US 35 is closed until November of this year. The exit ramp from 35 to Bridge Street is also closed, so no southbound traffic from North Plaza Boulevard to Stewart Road. Workers are reconstructing the off-ramp. You'll have to get used to going a longer way using 35 to East Main Street, then back to Bridge, or continuing on 104 to 207, and then back to the 159 exit south to Bridge Street. Check the link embedded into our Facebook post for more details.
These images we're showing you here, one is from earlier this morning when they had shut things off, or it may have been earlier yesterday. It's time-stamped for today. So that was probably something that greeted people by a surprise, although we tried to put that information out for you. But that other picture was for Bridge Street now. It looks odd not being able to go south of US 35.
It does. I know it did catch people by surprise because I was, my buddy told me he was going to go get some canes yesterday, and he lives very close to me. So I said, get me and Kenzie some. And he calls me about 5 minutes later and says, what do you mean I can't get on the highway to Bridge Street?
Uh-huh.
And I told him that it's going to be like this for a while, and he's going to have to get used to it.
Mm-hmm. And he said, thanks for sending me out here.
He said, thank you, Aaron, for the beneficial news that I can use.
Not only that, but how long did it take him?
A lot longer than it would have if the highway was open.
True. I know that Bainbridge, I was talking with our friends at Fredneck's earlier today, and she said she was trying to come through Bainbridge, and it is shut down because of the money that was granted to Frankfort and Bainbridge and a lot of those smaller communities. And so they've started doing all the work out there as well. So
you got to remember, they're not doing this to make your life difficult. They're making to do it better. You just can't see it yet.
It seems like it, but the improvements when everything is done, we are told are going to be out of this world. This past Friday, we had a special edition of Litter Media Live with Marie Wilbanks and Tom Kitchen. They are involved with the Pickaway County Autism Summit. It's coming up April 11th at Ohio Christian University's Maxwell Center. The keynote speaker is Jordan Zimmerman, a nonverbal communicator. Marie talked about having heard this presentation.
So for me, I've worked in this field for 20 some years at this point. And I had a chance to hear Jordan present. She was the keynote speaker at our association's conference. And even me, as somebody who does this day in and day out, I really had to check some of my assumptions. She is a keynote speaker, and she is communicating using a device. And her actual presentation that she typically gives is pre-programmed, but then she answers questions in real time, and it does take a little bit of time for her to formulate those responses, of course, because she's typing her answers. But I can only imagine it's like opening up an entire world for someone who has been closed off for so long. And what I thought was really interesting about Jordan's story and what she talks about is she was labeled as this child who was so problematic and wasn't going to be able to do anything. And the frustration that she must have felt not being able to communicate, not being able to say to people, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is why I'm frustrated. That when you can't speak, that looks like who knows what, but probably not pretty, probably something that is problematic in a classroom or problematic in a home setting. for her to be able to suddenly find her voice is just so powerful, and it checks our assumptions about how people can communicate, how they can be gifted speakers and provide this very important message. She really is profound in her presentation.
The event begins with a resource fair at 8 a.m. on April 11th. Jordan will then make her presentation at 9 a.m. and breakout sessions will follow. To register, you can scan the QR code that is on the poster that you'll see in the interview that we did this past Friday.
Students at Ohio Christian University are performing the musical Godspell from April 17th through the 19th. Godspell is based on the Gospel of Matthew that presents the teachings of Jesus through parables, music, and artistic storytelling. The producers note, the production reflects the spirit and storytelling style of the original staged production of Godspell and is distinct in tone and presentation from the 1973 film adaptation. Performances are 7 p.m. on April 17th and 18th and 3 p.m. on the 19th at the OCU Ministry and Performing Arts Center. This Thursday, the Chillicothe Art League will present its annual art show. The reception is from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Thursday. Visitors are reminded to use the Paint Street entrance to Yaktangi Park due to the work being done on Mulberry Street. I'll be there, so make sure you stop by and say hi.
Art is resistance. Throw those 3 letters around and you got rat with the with a spray can in his hand. I thought that was interesting. And one of our good buddies also on there is a painter, the one that we saw there. Let's tell you a little bit more about the Scioto Society. They introduced something for you here of late. It is the Shops on Sugarloaf for online shopping for many of the items that you find out at the gift shop at the Outdoor Drama Tecumseh. Native-made art, jewelry, along with art, apparel, and souvenirs. You can scan the QR code or you can visit shopsonsugarloaf.com. Pretty cool idea. Students from Ohio University's regional campuses came together for an unforgettable winter break experience through the United Kingdom, storytelling and education, literature and learning in England. Organized by regional campus faculty, this immersive trip offered a unique opportunity to explore, learn, and connect on a global scale. And this was posted on OUC's Facebook page. I'm going to assume that we have some Ohio University Chillicothe students in this photo.
I assumed the same.
Why not, right?
Over the weekend, the Ross County Historical Society marked the end of an era in Chillicothe. March 29th in 1930 was the final run for the streetcars in the first capital. Streetcars were once a prominent way to get to and fro through the downtown streets of Chillicothe, but those days are long gone.
Ain't that cool?
Is this Water Street? What is this?
This
Painted
is probably, I can't tell if that's the Carlisle building. I think it is.
Yeah.
But when I first moved to Chillicothe, in the Chillicothe telephone book, they had a history section. And in that history, there were a lot of old photos. And I would see these streetcars and things, and I thought to myself, this is very unusual. And also all up and down Paint Street used to be these large utility poles, and they had cables just running all over the place. Plus, they had these other cables in between over top of the streets, and I couldn't figure out what it was about. And then I learned about the streetcar. And so the streetcars made their way through. Streetcars are still running in Dayton. We went over this is back during the radio days. We had a meeting at our corporate location over in Dayton, and it was the first time I'd seen an actual streetcar in person doing its thing.
I don't think I've ever seen one, actually.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's like a train bus.
Yeah, we do have the trolley to kind of keep the spirit alive in downtown Chillicothe.
We do. But the trolley does not rely upon tracks or an overhead wiring cable system.
Costs a lot less to operate.
That too. Plus, it's a lot of fun just to be able to climb on it and go.
It is fun.
So, all right. That's a look at what's making news for us today on this Monday. Coming up, a weekend recap of sports. That's just ahead. The Pike County Career and Technology Center provides hands-on, skilled trades training with engaging curriculums and endless possibilities. From automotive technology, carpentry, business management, to culinary arts and interactive media. From electricity, welding, HVAC, engineering, and medical technology, to pre-nursing, basic food service, and public safety. We're preparing our youth for America's workforce through today's technology. To learn more about Pike County CTC, visit pikectc.org. Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today. Introducing the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. We want to put your pet in the spotlight. Pets with paws to pets with fins. If they gallop, crawl, or slither, play fetch, or simply curl up and snuggle. Send us a photo of your pet and we'll announce a new pet each week. And one pet will be crowned Pet of the Year. To nominate your pet, visit littermedia.com. Click on Pet of the Week. Tell us about your pet and be sure to include a photo. Watch Litter Media Live each Thursday for the announcement of the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. No purchase necessary. Contest applications must be from Ohio residents and at least 18 years old.
At Tomlinson Insurance, we've been protecting families, farms, and businesses since 1853. From auto, home, farm, life, or health. We tailor coverage that fits your world with multiple carriers to meet your insurance needs. Real people, real service, local agents who can answer the phone and care when it matters most. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call or stop by today.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
The Bean Foundation wants to raise awareness about suicide prevention by sharing 988. Trained crisis counselors are available to talk 24/7, 365 days a year. 988. Save the number. Save a life. To learn more about the Bean Foundation, click on this ad on littermedia.com.
Time for a look at sports, and we begin with our high school roundup. It is the Haynes Total Healthcare Center High School scoreboard, which is always available at littermedia.com. I've already put the games that are expected to be played today, as well as those games. And I'm seeing a mistake already, so I'm going to take care of that. There we go. I'm doing this live. So if you're looking at our website, you're seeing the changes immediately. But baseball games, there are plenty of games for you today. Of course, the FMB Classic continues out there at VA Memorial Stadium. Piketon will be facing McLean. That'll be at 4:30. Southeastern takes on North Adams afterwards. There's a number of high school softball games also being played today as conference season action begins for the SVC today, with Adina at Unioto, Westfall at St. Trace, Southeastern at Huntington, and Paint Valley at Piketon. The FAC opened up league play last week, and McLean will be at Chillicothe today, Miami Trace at Hillsboro. We will tell you that there were one softball and one baseball games played yesterday. In softball, Logan Elm a winner over Bath County 11-8, and West Jefferson took Ironton. In baseball 5-1. Again, you can find all that at littermedia.com.
And speaking of baseball, let's talk about the Reds.
Yes.
They won their opening series by taking Saturday and Sunday's games with Boston. They'll host Pittsburgh starting tonight. How do you feel about that series?
I feel pretty good about that series. Now, they lost the opener. They couldn't score any runs. They forced extra frames in Saturday's game. And there you see our buddy Eugenio Suarez after a 3-run home run. And to quote Terry Francona, this is why we brought Gino back.
Yep.
So that he could sock it out of the ballpark. He, I think, had 49 home runs last year, 49 the year before, and I think he had like 49 his last year with the Reds.
He's nothing if not consistent.
Yes, so looking forward to that, and he is very happy to be back in Cincinnati.
Now, as far as Cleveland goes, the Guardians split their 4-game series in Seattle over the weekend. Now they'll move on to L.A. with the Dodgers.
Yes. Reds, by the way, hosting Pittsburgh tonight, so they're back into action this evening at GABP. The Blue Jackets came up short, man. The shootout last night with Pittsburgh, 4-3, the final there. They were ahead 3-0 in this match, and it looked like they were just going to crank right through it. But they have lost 3 straight now. They will host Carolina tomorrow night. I didn't look at the standings this morning. I believe they're still in the thick of things, still as a playoff team, but they've got to get back on that winning track. There's less than 10 games left in the season, so they'll have to do what they can to survive and advance, as they say.
Now, what do you know about the Cavs? Do you know what their standings are right now?
Last I saw, they were in like 4th place of the Eastern Conference standings, so they're in good position.
All right. Well, they'll host Utah tonight.
Mm-hmm. Actually, no, they're in Utah tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're in Utah.
Because it doesn't tip off till like 9 o'clock.
Right.
So, Final Four is all set. Michigan blasted Tennessee. My sister didn't like that, but Dan Jr. was happy. And
I was also happy.
And UConn stunned Duke on a half-court shot. Did you see how that closed out?
Yes, and I was also happy about that.
That was pretty wild as well. Saturday, UConn will face Illinois, and Michigan battles Arizona. It's possible we could have an all-Big Ten championship game next Monday night. And the women's NCAA, UCLA beat Duke and UConn beat Notre Dame. Tonight, Michigan takes on Texas, and South Carolina has TCU. The winners join UCLA and UConn in the Final Four Friday night.
Are you in any bracket groups?
0.
I'm in one, and it's me and the 2 best men at my wedding. We do it every year. This is the closest it has ever been.
Really?
We have one friend who is just declared safe because UConn beat Duke.
Yeah.
And so now it's between me and my other buddy. He's got Arizona beating Michigan. I have Michigan beating Arizona. Mm-hmm. That's what it's going to come down to.
I used to do this, and I won the pool, I think it was, when I was at Sunny 95. And then we started one here in Chillicothe when I was working back here, coming back home again. And then it got to the point where they were like, you shouldn't be allowed to be in here because you're the sports guy, that sort of thing. What no one realized was I didn't follow the teams. I just filled out a bracket, and just kind of threw it together.
Yeah. See, the way we do it, we don't play for any money. It's the lowest placed person gets punished every year.
Oh, is that right?
2 years ago, I had to run the Wendy's 4-for-4 mile. Do you know what that is?
That's where you're eating 4 Wendy's sandwiches, was it?
Well, the 4-for-4, it's like nuggets, a drink, a sandwich, and a fry. And
Gotcha.
you have to run a lap around a track, 4 laps, and in between each lap, you have to eat part of the 4-for-4. Mm-hmm. It was miserable.
Was it hot?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that makes it even worse.
Yeah. This year, what we're doing is the Waffle House Challenge. So the loser will have to spend 24 hours in a Waffle House, and every waffle they eat is an hour off their time.
Okay. I could see that. Now, I've never had waffles at a Waffle House.
Me neither.
I usually get other items.
Yeah.
And I always enjoy the meal that I have. Always. I have yet to be at a Waffle House and gone, ugh, this is horrible. It's been good eating.
Waffle House is good. I'm just worried about how that 12th waffle is going to taste if I lose.
Well, here's what you do. You just make sure you don't lose.
Well,
it's speaking of track and
it's
field.
out of my hands.
Track and field, Cavalier Invitational was over the weekend. They didn't have as many teams as they normally do, but one of the things that happened on Saturday was Carter Williams broke a long-standing mark. This goes back to 1996. The high jump mark that Butch Howard set at 6 foot and, 6'7" and 3/4 inches. It is now 6 feet 8 inches.
Wow. 30 years.
Carter Williams.
That's crazy.
Yes,
Wow.
yes. And I remember Butch breaking that, and he was on cloud 9. And in my post reaction to Carter winning, of course, congratulated him on the mark, but I thought that I would outlive seeing that mark set because I just didn't think it was going to be broken. But Well, they say records are made to be broken.
Yes, they are.
Never to be kept, that's for sure. All right, coming up, we'll take a look back. This date in history and our national days, all coming up.
But first, we want to tell you about Litter Quality Propane. There's no bill when there's a fill. You can contact Litter Quality Propane today about our metered gas service at litterpropane.com.
Tecumseh. Fascinating. Captivating. Mesmerizing. Tecumseh.
Pain was interfering with Tiffany's active lifestyle. Same-day hip replacement at the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute got her back to the community she calls home. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
Life. It can get on top of you quickly, can't it? But with 211, it only takes one step to get connected to the help you need. 211 is always available to help. So get in touch today.
This date in history today takes us back to 240 BC, the first recorded perihelion passage of Halley's Comet. Officially, the comet is designated 1P Halley because it is the first recorded foreign object to ever pass through our solar system and the only that we know of to have been observed multiple times. Right now, 3I Atlas, which is the third recorded foreign object to pass through our solar system, is moving through it right now.
So let me do this properly then.
There you go. Have you heard of 3I Atlas that's going about right now?
I don't think so.
Right now, it's out by Jupiter, but it's, see, the thing is, this is only the third thing to pass through our solar system that we can record. It's done so in a way that's
Mr. NASA.
That's different from the other two. It's behaved in ways that we couldn't explain.
Is this another sign of the apocalypse?
No. One of the things that they were saying it did was it kind of had a startup sequence, and they don't know if that was gravity by a planet's orbit or what, but it changed speeds at one point. And they said if this is aliens, it'll probably go around Jupiter and back to us, but it didn't do that. It's still going.
Wow.
So not aliens, unless they decided to ignore us, but still very fascinating.
We're just passing through.
Yeah.
The Artemis project, I know that it's back on schedule. Do you know the date when it's supposed to take off? Is it this week?
I'm not sure. Artemis 1?
Yeah.
That's the moon program, right?
Right.
Is 3 the one where we're going to try to land on the moon?
That I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't followed it that closely, but it cropped up in my Facebook feed one day, and I'm like, oh, that's right. We're going back to the moon, aren't we? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So, pretty cool. It almost makes me feel like a kid again.
It does.
Which I slept through the spacewalk in 1969. I tried to stay up for it, and my brother Jim said you just kept falling asleep, and we just let you go. You know, we decided we're not gonna wake him up for this historic event that was taking place. So I totally missed the spacewalk. I'm not a denier. I believe it happened, but yeah, it was really cool to see how, and CBS News was the main one that we watched in our home at that time. Walter Cronkite talking about it and having talks with the experts who had been astronauts. Maybe they had orbited the moon but had not landed and everything. But to hear all that stuff when you're like 7 and 8 years old, you just ate it up.
Yeah. What gets me is when scientists come out and say, here's a phenomena, a naturally occurring phenomena that we can't explain. We don't know why this is the way it is.
Yeah.
I find it so. The only possibilities are God's way is higher than ours, which I believe. Mm-hmm. But there could also be things out there that we don't know of. And that's also very fascinating.
Other created beings.
Yeah.
He's created, and we just haven't been given the knowledge of it yet.
Right.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens when when it all comes to. There's going to be a day. We don't know the hour or the day when it's going to happen. But one day we'll get all the answers we need. Mm-hmm. National Day.
Yes. Doctor's Day. I am in control day. Pencil day. Take a walk in the park day. Turkey neck soup day.
Never had turkey neck soup.
Me neither. And virtual vacation day.
So virtual vacation day, I imagine, is where you're sitting here plotting your vacation, what it's going to be.
Yes. Some facts about pencil day on the back.
Oh, is that right?
Thomas Edison had his pencils custom made by Eagle Pencil. They were 3 inches long, thicker than standard pencils, and had softer graphite. John Steinbeck was an obsessive pencil user, reportedly using as many as 60 a day.
60 a day?
His novel East of Eden took more than 300 pencils to write.
My goodness.
I can't imagine. I don't know if I've ever gone through a whole pencil.
Now, back in the day, when I was in elementary school, we used them a lot. And of course, part of that was we liked to go to the pencil sharpener and sharpen it as far as we could. Yep. And we would try and get it all the way in to where all the sticking out was the eraser.
Yep.
And it would come out and it'd be like this long.
We did that
too. It was really cool. But I wonder how many, does Matt Patricia have a box of pencils in the coach's office at Ohio State? Because he's always got that pencil stuck up in his hat.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Woody Hayes used to break a watch and everything in his pregame speech.
Right.
And then he would go to his drawer, pull it out, and he had plenty of other watches there just so he could break another one down the road. All right. That's it for the program today. We appreciate you joining us here on Litter Media, and feel free to share what we do. Let people know that we're spreading the word about the good news and things going on in and around our communities here in the Scioto Valley. Tomorrow we have a special edition at 10 o'clock. We'll have Kingston National Bank will be in, Marty Ford, as well as Wes Mulbash will be talking about identity fraud. That is highly important.
Yes.
You won't want to miss that. So we'll have that for you coming up at 10 o'clock. And later this week, we will have an interview with Jeffrey Wills. Some might remember Jeffrey from the 1980s. He is the son of former Chillicothe and I believe Southeastern. I think he went to Southeastern. High school band director John Wills. And he ended up jumping into professional music. He joined Arnett Howard in the Creole Funk Band, who was big in the 1990s, and then he started traveling around the world and playing music. But he's coming back here to play a show at the Majestic Theater.
Very cool.
So that's coming up in April. So we'll be talking with Jeffrey later this week, and then produce that and share it so that you can enjoy it as well. And he can tell us more about what life as a professional musician's been like for him.
Yeah.
He's not the only one from Chillicothe High School, but it's good to have him coming back and performing at the Majestic Theater. So until we see you again tomorrow, that's it for the show. For Aaron Clanton, I'm Dan Ramey. We'll talk to you soon with another edition of Litter Media Live.
My name is Imogene Overly, and I worked at Adena for 17 years. When I started Adena, I was 70 years old. I needed something to do because I wasn't ready to retire. So I talked to my doctor, and my doctor suggested that I get a part-time job. I applied for a job in the cafeteria, and I got it. And I loved it. I was only going to stay for like a couple years, but I stayed for the whole 17 years. I loved the job. I was treated really nice, and I helped other people, and they helped me. in the cafeteria. I started talking to the manager when I was working here. The employees they had an hour for lunch, and they had to stand out in the hallway and stand outside the cafeteria in line to get in. And by the time that they got in to get their meals and stuff, their hour was up, and they had to take their meal back to their room. And so I thought, it's time to get a new cafeteria. Your employees are important. And so then I started on the CEOs about a new cafeteria. And so I put a lot of the credit for this cafeteria on Jeff Graham and the Adina board. The day the cafeteria was finished, I thought that I was going to come and cut the ribbon. And instead, I was presented the table. And I was so shocked, and I was so thrilled and so honored that Adina gave me that honor. When I walked in here, I was shocked. I was so surprised. First thing I think I said was, where did you get all the room? Because it was so large, and the other one was such a little place, because it was built when the hospital was first built years ago. It was an honor to have a table and have my name on it, and I will always honor that. And I credit you, Adina, for giving me a job and letting me work the whole 17 years. Credit has made my life stronger and made me live longer. I am enjoying my time. I have grandchildren and that I visit. I have my 2 daughters and my son that I visit. And I am a news person, so I watch the TV and I have an iPad, and I'm happy as can be.